There we go. And there we go. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna paint the painting I did for my very first one, and I'm actually going to use the same size canvas that Bob used. It's an 18 by 24-inch canvas. I normally paint on a 16 by 20. I'm also not going to use a 2-inch brush. He used a 2-inch brush through most of the episode and the painting, and I just don't like painting with the 2-inch brush. It's too big. Oh, and also please hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't yet. Do all those YouTube-y things to help the algorithms push my streams up the list a little bit. But as I was saying about my first painting, I did it with some cheap Home Depot brushes. I just went, I think they were $1.50 a piece. So I bought some 2-inch brushes and 1-inch brushes, and this is actually a 1.5-inch brush that I never used. So if you're going to paint for the first time and you want to try it, I suggest that you buy a beginner's kit. And hang on, I've got one right here, and I'm going to do one of these in the future, so keep an eye out for the stream. But I would suggest you pick up a Bob Ross basic paint set. It's about $50 at Amazon. Comes with 5 different colors, a 1-inch brush, a palette knife, and some liquid white, and then instructions to do a beginner style painting, which is, it's kind of, if you look at the back, it's kind of like the one I'm going to do, just a little different. But like I said, if you want to pick one of these up, I'm going to do one sometime, I think in January. I'll do a stream where we can paint together if you want to paint along with me. But I would suggest getting one of these and using some cheap brushes the first time, and not using the 1-inch brush from the kit and just throwing these brushes away at the end instead of cleaning them. And then if you decide you do want to continue, then I would go get some thinner and start to use the real brushes, and maybe buy a few brushes. So again, here's just one more time. Here's my original. It's actually on a canvas. It's a 16 by 9. 16 by 20. He does them on 18 by 24 sideways. I did mine portrait. So this one, I'm going to do landscape, and I'm going to do it on, as I said, it's an 18 by 24. Mine was a 16 by 20 for the original. So let's get started. The canvas has already been coated with a light coat of liquid white. You can make sure you have enough or not enough by doing what they call the finger test. Is you go along and press at various spots around the canvas, and you should see, you can see that, you see your fingerprints through the paint. You won't, your fingerprints aren't all mushed up where you can't see them at all. If it is, it's too much. You can just simply take a paper towel and wipe the excess off, and then do the finger test again, and then just go over to get rid of the fingerprints that you just made. And the only thing I use a 2-inch brush for really is to apply the liquid white. I find them too big to do what I'm trying to do. So, but let's get started. Okay, I need to let's get the colors along the bottom of the screen. This is what we're going to use today. So we're going to start with some phthalo blue. And we'll put a little bit out on the palette. Just need a little to start. I'm going to use a 1-inch brush instead of a 2-inch brush. And we're going to put a little bit of phthalo blue. Just tap on it to get it to load the brush. More. Tap, tap, tap. And you want to apply it, of course, with the little X pattern, starting in the corner and working toward the center, and then we're working downward. And as you work down, it will get lighter because of the liquid white. It does that automatically for you. So do little X strokes across the top. Work our way back. And you'll see as I go along, we'll start to get a little lighter as I work my way down. And you can add a little more. It's too light, but start in a corner and work your way back into it so it's not too bright in the middle or at the bottom. How far do I want to go down? I'll go about right to there. Just finish this across. And the other thing I use a 2-inch brush for is to blend this. So I'm going to take clean, dry 2-inch brush. I'm going to lightly blend this. And this gets rid of any of the brush strokes that are in there and blends the color. The liquid white with the blue gives you that nice sky effect. There's a hair. Let's flip that off. All right, let me step back and look a little dark up here. Although you should be darker in the corners, it draws your eye toward the center of the painting. I think that's pretty good. All right, so now I'm going to take a little bit of phthalo green, put that out. I'm going to mix the phthalo blue and the phthalo green together. I'm going to use it to make the water. Okay, so let's start. I'm coming from the outside in straight horizontal lines. And of course, I'm going to leave a little center spot in the middle. Oh, hair. And make sure these are straight. Okay. And pull from this side. Take my brush, just blend out a little hair again. Get out of here. Blend this a little bit. On this side. Slightly across. And voila, some water. A little sheen in the middle. Okay. So now let's do some clouds. Need some titanium white. Some titanium white out here. Get this out of the way. This big gob of titanium white. I'm going to take a fan brush. I'm going to load up a good amount of titanium white in the brush. So I'm going to pull the paint out. Load both sides. You can wiggle it. It loads the bristles with a lot of paint. Make sure my corners are loaded good. Okay, so let's add some clouds. So now we're going to add a cloud with a little circular motion. So we're going to put it on the canvas and just work in circles and not stay in one place, because you'll make, what did Bob say? You make cotton balls that way. So let's start, let's say right here. Little circles. Come down a little. I'm going to wipe off the excess blue that I picked up. And I'm going to reload so it doesn't contaminate the white as much by taking that blue off. I want this to go a little farther this way. Wipe off the excess blue. Some more white. I think I want it to come down this way a little too. Circles. Like that. Okay. Wipe it off. See that there's a lot of blue that contaminates that. I'm going to need some more white because I want to add another cloud on the other side. Right. Some more white. Over here. Let's put one that starts right here. And he just kind of sits there and then he gets bigger. And he moves right down that way. Okay, so there's our two clouds. I'm going to get that blue off again. Now, I'm going to take clean, dry 1-inch brush. And I'm going to have a paper towel ready so I can wipe off any excess. Bob would normally blend out the bottom of the clouds and then bang it up, like he was cleaning the brush. I'm just going to dry clean my brush. So we're going to just take the corner of the brush and just do little tiny circular motion and blend the very bottom edge of that cloud in. Turn circles. I'm just barely touching the canvas with the bristles. There we go. There's the bottom of that. I'm going to wipe off any excess. Come up in here and start right here. Blend this. There we go. Let's blend the bottom of this one. Blend. There we go. All right, and then we're going to take and fluff them. Little strokes that are curved. Now it pulls up these little stringy things that you can get rid of. I kind of like them. I leave a little bit of them in there. One a bit more right here. And now when you go across lightly, a lot of them will go away, but I try to leave a couple because that's what clouds look like, really. I find myself looking at clouds and trees a lot now when I'm out and about, just to see what they look like. All right, let's do this one. Fluff this one up. Get rid of some of these little brush marks that it leaves. There we go. There's our clouds. All right. Now, what's next? Next will be the mountains. So when you're making a mountain, you have to think about what side the sun is on. A lot of that depends on whether you're right-handed or left-handed, really. Sorry, I need to take my shirt off. It's getting warm down here. Depending on, like I said, if you're right-handed or left-handed, if you're right-handed, your sun will tend to come from the right side. If you're left-handed, it'll come from the left side because highlighting seems to be easier, whatever handed you are. If that makes sense. So you have to think about where the sun is coming from in my painting. It'll be coming from the right side. So when after I get the mountain in, I'll be highlighting it from the right. So let's make some mountain color. What did he use? Prussian blue, midnight black, and a little crimson. So let's take some Prussian blue, midnight black, about even with those, and then I'm just going to use a little crimson. Here's my big one. I'm just going to mix these up real quick. It's going to be a very dark purple. It should be on the blue side. Pick the paint up, then I put it back down. Pick it up and flip it over and pull through it to mix it. And the final one, I'll put my finger on it and push down very hard and try to wipe off as much as I can onto the palette. Use this on a paper towel. And we're ready to go. So now we have to decide where we want our mountain to be. Should be probably about a quarter of the way down the canvas, a little off center. Let's get a roll of paint. I'm going to pull this out a little more. Get a little roll of paint. A little roll of paint right on the edge of my knife. And I'm going to come up here and let's start it right here. And I'm just going to press this into the paper. Canvas. There's the first peak of our mountain. I gotta look. I'm looking at my old one. I don't want it to be the same. So let me get another little roll of paint. Let's come down this way. About break it off, put it back on, push it in, really work it in. But you kind of want a nice straight edge along the top. Some fresh paint here. Okay. Oh. So like that. Come down that way a little bit more. you want to make sure you scrape all the excess paint off that you just put on there. But you see, it'll stay in the canvas. All right, clean that knife. Now I'm going to take the 1-inch brush that I used to fluff the clouds. It's not really that dirty. I'm going to use this to pull down the paint, and it's going to move because of the liquid white and spread. I'm going to pull it down and finish off the bottom of the mountain, like so. Pull this down. There we go. Down this way. Voila. We have the start of our mountain. There we go. Just kind of look like it's floating there. All right. Now, I'll take some titanium white on my knife. We'll roll the titanium white. Come up here and just with 2 little fingers, I'm going to hold it very gently and loose and touch and then pull and draw down to the right. If you're left-handed, do it to the left. If your highlight is on the left side, my highlight is going to be on the right side. So we start right at the top, touch, and pull down and away. And you see as it breaks, that's what you want it to do. You want to get that nice break. Okay, reload. Let's go over here in this one. Touch and pull down. Broke too hard. Go over it again. Come in here and just touch. There we go. And voila. Those are 2 peaks. Now, put a little bit right here. Here and there. So let's say it's a little bit of snow right here. Like so. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to take some phthalo blue, just a little tiny bit, and some white to make a shadow color. A little blue, some of this white, mix it up. And a little more white. Let's give that a shot, see how that looks. So now I want to add shadow to the left side of this. So I'll touch and just pull to the left. Let's have some shadow come down this way. There we go. Pretty good. Let's load a little more shadow color. Over here. On this side. Shadow. A little more. Come by here. Some shadow there. That's all right. More down in here. There we go. So now what you can also do, what Bob did, is go back and take some white. You can take and say this peak, it comes over this way. Right? Just a hand more in here. I want this to connect. There we go. There we go. Okay. Put some shadow down here. There we go. I think we almost got a mountain. Put a little more snow here. There we go. That's better. Okay, I think we got a mountain. Now, what we need to do is make it so it looks like it's got fog at the bottom. Okay, so I need a clean dry brush. We're going to use a 2-inch. Nope. I'm going to use a 1-inch. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your brush and just lightly tap in the same direction that the land goes. So on the right side, I'm tapping to the right. And all you want to do is just kind of diffuse the bottom here. You just tap, tap, tap lightly, following the way the land would go, or is going. So down over here, I'm cutting this off a little. The extra paint. Now the land goes this way, so I'm going to turn my brush to the left. Just lightly tap. This canvas is very bouncy. Okay, now just lightly fluff it up, and it creates the illusion of mist at the bottom. Just fluff it up. Fluff it up. And there you go. Mist at the bottom of the mountain. All right. So now, we need to make some foothills. So we're going to take the color that was left in the mountains. Okay. We need, what do I do with my big knife? I lost my knife. So we need some more blue. I think he used Prussian blue for this. Right. Some blue, some black, some crimson, and a little sap green. And then I'm going to do too. Here's my big knife. I'm going to scoop up the rest of this blue and green over here and mix that in. Mix this really good. It's a very dark color. All very dark colors, so it should almost look black. It does look black. There we go. Clean my knife off. I'm just wiping it on a paper towel. Now, we need to lighten it up a little. So I'm going to take a little bit of it over here and mix it with some white and see what color we get. I want kind of a light gray. White. So what we got to do is when you're painting, the things that are farthest back are the lightest, and as you work forward, they get darker. So I'm going to put 3 rows of foothills in. So the first row needs to be the lightest, and then the next row in front of it a little darker, and the row in front of that a little darker still. But you can actually get away with the same color sometimes. We'll give it a try. So I think that's pretty good color. Need a little more, that's all. Let's see. I'm going to be using up all this white and lighten it where I want it. I think that looks good. Let's give that a shot. All right. So again, he used a 2-inch brush. I'm going to use a 1-inch brush, and we're going to load the brush up so paint's on both sides of the brush. And you want to wiggle it through there. Wiggle, 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 and then pull it straight. And then you almost have a chiseled edge on the brush. And actually, that's for the next one. What I need to do, no, I just want it, don't have to worry about it being chiseled yet. I just want a good edge on with a lot of paint. So we got to pick where our foothills are going to start. Mine, I want them to run down into the mist that's along the bottom here. So I'm going to start and say they're going to live about here. I'm just going to lightly tap and kind of pull it down. I'm not sliding. I'm just tapping. You can flip the brush over and use the other end. And work up this way. You want to make sure you keep the brush loaded with a good amount of paint. Now we'll go back. Have these go up a little bit. And that goes off there. Then, a little further, this way. Paint on there. Maybe a little more, I think. I'm just darkening this a little bit right along that edge. Okay. Think about just a little farther. About right there. There we go. Just want to add a little color in right along here. So this is our first row of foothills. Now I'm going to take a clean, dry, I'll use that 1-inch brush again. I'm going to give it a good dry clean. Okay. Now I'm just going to tap right at the bottom. Tap, 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 and create a line of mist underneath this. We can do it by the side, so get this all to blend in. That liquid white. Bristle. Tap, tap, tap. And voila, we have some mist under our distant foothills. All right, so I'm going to take that same brush we just used, take a little bit of that darker color, and mix it in with the color we were using, just to darken it a little bit. A little bit more, I think. Okay, give that a try. Now we're going to add a next row of foothills. All right, take a look here, something. So my next row of foothills, let's live right here. Right down so the top of it is in the mist. That way you can get some separation. Because what we're looking for is layers in the painting. The more layers you have, the more distance it gives your painting. Right now we have 4 layers. We have 1 that I'm adding, 2, 3 the mountains, and 4 of the clouds. So, like I said, the more layers you add, the more distant or deep your painting will look. And if you didn't have this fog here, it would look flat. So that was pretty good. Let's work it the other way. You gotta come right up there. Have just enough paint to do this. Tap in the tops of some trees. And then what you can do is head down. And use my paper towel. Let's some mist here. We need some more paint there too. A little more paint to work with to make the mist. So tap, tap, tap. Here and off the side. So now the trees will cover up the edges here. So we just end them right there. And like I said, while you're waiting, or if you're watching this on the replay, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. I deeply appreciate it. Okay. So there's our next row of foothills with some mist. You always should step back and look at your painting from a distance, because when you're up close, it looks a lot different than when you're looking at from 5-10 feet back. I think that looks okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more little row in the front, but I'm not even going to change the color. I'm going to use the same color that I just used for this row, and I'm going to come from right here, and there's going to be another little row that is right down in front. Coloring over here. And he's just going to disappear down there. Okay. So there's kind of a half row of changing the color. Now, let's make some mist here. Just tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. Let's kind of clean up any brush marks. And voila. We have 3 rows of foothills. Okay. What now? to make some evergreens. So we're going to use the same color, but we're going to add some Van Dyke brown to it. So I'm actually going to clean this brush because I'm going to need it. No, let's look at another 1-inch. There we go. 1-inch. Okay, so I'm going to take all this paint. Get this all scraped up together. Now add some somewhere. Some Van Dyke brown. More blue, black, and green. So, Van Dyke brown. Some more phthalo blue. And some sap green. All right. So now let's mix this up real good. Like I said, I would like using a 2-inch brush to make these trees and most everything. You really like the 2-inch brush. I don't. I find it too big and unwieldy. Mix this up good. Okay. Take off the knife. And then, like I said, to clean the knife, I'm just use a paper towel. Wipe it off. Clean. Okay, so now I'm going to use a 1-inch brush. And this is where we're going to make a chiseled edge. So we're going to pull the brush through the paint and really load a lot of paint in the brush. And then you're going to take the brush and you're going to wiggle it. Wiggle it, both sides, and then go back and pull it through. And what that does is it gives you a nice chiseled edge. So now this chiseled edge we're going to take and we're going to use it to make some evergreens. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to start small in the center, and then they're gradually going to get bigger as you go out to give it the effect of it's rounded, or this is in the distance and you're getting closer as you look to the left and right. So make sure I got a nice chiseled edge. Wiggle, wiggle, pull it, pull it. There we go. And how to do this is you just tapping the brush to the canvas and just pulling down slightly. And it will look like the top of evergreens. And voila, little evergreen trees. Now, what you don't want to do is make them all like telephone poles or any fence posts. That's what the word I was looking for. So we're going to go along. I probably started that actually a little too high because it's going to block my foothills in the back. But we can drop this down a little bit. Okay. There's the start. You want to keep your brush really loaded with paint and reload it as you're going to keep that chiseled edge. Because as soon as you tap it a couple of times, you lose the chisel. Let's go a little lower here. And then up. All right. Yes, I'm going to end up blowing out that third row. That's all right. That's okay. Okay. So I'll get some color in here down the bottom. Along the edge, some color. There we go. Here's the start of our row of evergreens. You see, as it's getting bigger, it'll give it the illusion that it's coming closer to us. I hope. That's what it's supposed to do. Whether it does, we'll find out in the end. So let's keep moving this way. Okay. Yeah, he always makes this look so easy. I mean, it is easy, but I need to practice a lot more. Like he says, I'm going to get better. You need to practice. So, just want to get some bottom in here so I know where I'm going. I don't know how far over do I want to go. I have to go all the way to the side because there's going to be trees over here covering this. Let's see. Is that far enough? I think I'm going to just the hair more. There we go. Okay. So now, let's make sure there's some color along the bottom for land. So these trees got to live on something. There we go. Okay. Oh, hi, Carol Sue. Thank you. So far, so good, I think. We'll see where it goes. All right. We need to make some reflections under here. So I'm going to use the brush that I just used to make the evergreens to add a little color. And then I'll use a clean, dry one to finish it off. So we're in the center, sure. So we're going to have shorter reflections and then work out larger as we go. And pull these straight down. Straight down. here as we go. There we go. I think that looks good. So I'm gonna have to clean. Oh, I got another one that's clean. Let's take a clean, dry 2-inch brush. I am going to use a 2. That's what I use. A 2-inch brush I use for reflections, and that's all. Yes, I use it's called odorless paint thinner. Hang on. You can buy it online. I don't suggest using the Home Depot type turpentines or thinners. Bob Ross sells one, odorless. There's also another one I use that I find is very good, and that is Gamsol. You can get them online. You can get it on Amazon, a lot of different places. And then, as I stated at the beginning, I'll do it again at the end. And now, if you want to pick up a basic paint set, I'm going to do one of these in January, and you can paint along with me. You can use linseed oil too to clean your brushes. You don't have to use turpentine. I also read somewhere there's a mixture of soap that you can use to clean it, but I wouldn't. It's soap and water. I think it's the way the people over at William Alexander's site do it. But again, you can use linseed oil to clean it. All right, so let's pull down these reflections. So I'm going to pull these down straight. Pull them down. And then go lightly across. And voila, we have instant reflections. There we go. That looks good. With that paper towel, let's dry clean this brush. In case I need it again. All right. So, what's next? What's next? Oh, we need to. I'm going to take the fan brush. I'm going to take a new fan brush. New fan brush. I'll load it up with some white. And we're going to actually add another layer. Another layer to the painting. You want to take titanium white on a fan brush and then lightly pull up at the bottom of the evergreens to give it the illusion that there are tree trunks. So you start and you just pull up a little. And it gives it the illusion that there's some tree trunks there in the distance. And as you come to this side, they get a little bigger. Ooh, contaminated that. Some on this side. There we go. There is our tree trunks. So now that's another layer. So now we have the reflections 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're up to 8 layers. So now what's next? Oh, I know. A water line. Let's So let's take a little bit of the liquid white. There's my knife. I lost my knife again. That's the big one. What do I do with the little one? Okay, so we take a little bit of the liquid white, pull it out thin, cut through it, and then I'm going to really scrape or push in to add a water line. So let's start right here. Water line. Through the paint. Let's go there. There. I would suggest after you add the water line, you wipe off the knife because it will pick up the paint and contaminate the white. I mean, it doesn't really matter because you're going to be contaminating when you add it back, but there we go. Then we can actually take more water line out here. And voila, our water lines. Okay, moving right along. How are we doing on time? About halfway through, about an hour. Okay. All right, next, we're going to do some foreground beverage. So I take my 1-inch brush and load this up into a pile again. Break this up. Back in the middle. Now, we'll load the brush up to a chiseled edge. So, wiggle it through the paint. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. Run it through. And we have a nice chiseled edge. Okay, so we're going to go up here and decide where our first evergreen tree is going to live. And I think mine is going to live right there. So just tap and put a little line, and then take the very corner of the brush and just start tapping. And go left to right as you go, just using the corner of the brush. You can flip it over to the other side. Reload it. That chiseled edge back. Let's see, we'll go down to about here. There we go. Our first evergreen. Reload the brush. Okay, let's give this one a little friend right here. actually put the trunk in if you want to. There's his trunk. And imagine doing this with a 2-inch brush. I've tried it and I just can't do it. It's too big, especially for trees this size. All right. There we go. So there's my 2 trees, my 2 evergreens. Now, let's put one on my other side. So we need one about right here. He's going to be a big one. He's going to go all the way up. Give him a trunk. He's going to come down to about here. One right there. That looks good. Myself, chiseled edge, and stop, tap, tap, tap. And this is just the, we're going to come back and highlight this afterwards. So this is just undercolor. Get a little bigger as he goes down. Bring him to about there. There we go. Here's our 3 evergreens. All right, so now let's add some leaf trees. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the brush, and I usually use the side that is rounded. It doesn't have the bead where it's crimped. So you take that rounded side and take it and hold it toward you, and you're going to drag it through the paint in one direction. So I'm going to take it and drag it through the paint in one direction. And as I do that, it's going to make the brush have a curved edge at the top. So now if you look at the brush, bring it up here, you see it has a curved edge at the top. That edge is going to be up, so that's why I have the curved side of the brush as the curve, so I know what side is up all the time. So now we're going to add some what you call leaf trees. So the way you do that is take the brush, holding it up with the curved side up. You want to touch the canvas and push upward. So you would touch it and push up. And it gives the look of a bunch of little leaves. You just do that and build the bottom, the under, and the underside of your tree. Back and reload. Just want to fill this all in. I like sometimes having a little bit of the blue show through, because you do see that in real life. The sky will show through the trees. So now what I want to do is I want to build out the land so it comes out. I'm going to lose my water line. Oh well. So it comes out to about here. And then it's kind of like a little triangle of land underneath the trees. I'm just going to take the brush, load it up with a bunch of color, and just fill this in. Like Bob said, you could put this on with a paint roller It's just undercolor. So I'm going to have it. Actually, I want to give it a chiseled edge. I'll show you why. I want the land to come out to almost a point, say here. Give it a little bush at the edge. Some grass. There we go. Just fill this in. Look like some land under there. That looks good. All right. Let's put some leaf trees over on this side. So again, I'm going to round the edge of my brush by dragging it in one direction, pulling it through the paint, loading a lot of paint on the brush. And let's make a leaf tree right here. He was right there. Some bushes down there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's add one on the other side. Let's make him a good size one. He comes out here. He starts to get bigger as he gets to the bottom. And voila. We have another leaf tree. Kind of fill in the center. Just a little bigger right there. There we go. Oh, coming untaped. All right, let's add the bottom color. So this is going to go down this way. Down to there. That looks good. Takes this, fill this in. And this is where a 2-inch brush would come in handy because it would fill it in twice as fast. But I just don't like that 2-inch brush. It came undone. That actually put out the right amount of paint. I've learned, just as a tip, to take whatever paint you have left over. Don't be afraid about putting out too much paint. Whatever paint you have left over, use it to practice. I'll show you in a second what I did. Because the paint you have left over isn't going to be the colors that you want to paint with, but you can still use it to practice. Like I used it to practice trees and the Northern Lights. I was playing around with those again. Here we go. This in just a hair more. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Let me show you. What did I do with that? I was playing around with two things. I was playing around with using a piece of cardboard as a canvas. So I use these canvas pads, and they come 10 pads to a pack. This piece of paper is on the front, and there's a hunk of cardboard on the back. So I took one side and I gave it 3 coats of gesso, and then I used whatever paint I had left over from a painting and was playing around with doing some more of the Northern Lights. And if you notice the trees down the bottom, they're an odd color. That's what I was talking about. I just used whatever color I had on the palette to paint trees and highlight them just as practice. So don't be afraid to practice with odd colors. You don't have to show anybody. But it does make it so you don't waste your paint, number one, and you get practice. So, all right. So we have our background in, we have our trees in, the background, the ground. And next is we got to do some tree trunks. I'm going to do a little bit of maintenance on my palette. So give me a second to clean this up. Okay, what do I do with my big knife again? So let's get this. See, like this paint I have left here, I'll use it later, either tomorrow, because it takes a while for it to dry. I'll use it tomorrow on another painting, because I'm going to try to paint every day as much as I can going forward. All right. So let's take a paper towel. I'll wipe this up. And this is what's nice about using wax paper as a palette. You can wipe it up with a paper towel and keep on using it. So, I hit that paint. That's all right. Get over that way. Do. Look down here. This highlight color. There we go. That away. Okay, so now we need to put out some cad yellow. Some sap green. There it goes, sap green. What's the other one? Yellow ochre. And then we need a little dark sienna. This is for the tree trunks. A little dark sienna. And I've got some white. I've still got some white out. Use that white up. We're going to take this white and a little sienna and mix it and leave it so it's marbled. A little roll of paint. I'm going to put some tree trunks. So we'll do the evergreens first. We'll do the top. And give this one a top. It gives it a nice point. And then all you got to do is touch it various points along where you think the trunk would be. You don't have to make the whole trunk. It's going to get covered up with highlights. So you just want little pieces of it to stick out if it ends up being seen. So you just touch, touch. There's his tree trunk. Some more. Let's give this guy a tree trunk. You could have one that comes. Ooh, that's too fat. That's all right. It'll get covered up. Just need to put indications of lines so it looks like there's something underneath. You can do it. Make lines there. Let's give this guy tree top, trunk. Trunk for this one. Get him right along the edge. Do dots here and there. Some twigs and sticks that'll show through later. Write some sticks in. Now you probably can't see them, but they show through at the end. And you can also come out and make it look like there's little sticks growing. You can do that at the end. I like doing it beforehand. Okay. So we do. Where am I here? All right. We need to highlight the evergreens. So we're going to take some. I'll take some black. Right. Yeah. A little black. A little black out. Take a little cad yellow, a little green, and black. I want to make a dark green. Darker green. A little too dark. Might be a little too dark. If I add the white to it. I want it to be a different green than the rest. It stands out as a highlight on those evergreens. And that might look pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a fan brush to highlight them. Actually, I'm going to use a filbert. And I'm going to go into a little bit of the liquid white so it thins it down just a little bit. Okay. I'll load some of this color on the brush. Okay. So it's light enough to see. I'm just going to start. I think it's not light enough. I'll lighten that up a little. So take some more. You can probably do that way with the liquid white. Oh, come on, get on there. All right, let's try this. It's a little lighter now. So you added the liquid white to it, so it's thin. So a thin plate, plate. I can't even speak today. A thin paint sticks to a thick paint. So let's see if this is light enough now. That's a little better. I don't know if that's showing up either. Yeah, I can see it. I don't know if it's showing. Oh yeah, it's showing up. You want it to get darker. You go down. All right, to the other side. And we're just gonna tap. I just want to add a little highlight to these. Okay. Dookie. More evergreen. More. And voila. There's our 3 evergreens highlighted. Now, gonna go. I'm gonna. What do we need to do? I need to add some bushes and highlight the trees. So I'm going to use a 1-inch or the foliage brush. Let's use a 1-inch. So I'm going to take the 1-inch brush that I was using when I misted, the foothills. I'm going to dip that into a little bit of liquid white. I'm going to go into the cad yellow, some of the green. I'm just going to brush mix all this. Nice green. Maybe grab a little bit of that dark color. There we go. And again, I'm going to pull this in one direction, just like before. And then with the rounded side up, I'm going to make this tree green. And we're going to do the same thing, and I want to highlight just above the dark. So I'll start at the dark and press up. And if you find your paint isn't sticking, just dip it into a little more liquid white, and you should be all set. The other thing too is, if you notice, it picks up some of the dark undercolor. You want to just wipe it off a little on paper towel, and then go in and reload your brush. And continue highlighting your tree. The other thing you want to do is think about how a tree is. How the leaves would be. Don't just blotch it on any random pattern. Think about how the tree would be, which way the branch would be holding the leaves, things like that. Maybe this comes down like this. And down here, there's another bit. Like so. The very bottom. Like so. There's our leafy tree. All right, so now I'm going to go back into a little more liquid white. And I'm going to go into the yellow ochre now. A little more. All right, so let's make this one nice yellow ochre. He's just one of those big bushy trees. Let's go back, grab some yellow. I'm just letting all these colors mix together on the brush. Let's give this guy some leaves. There we go. All right, let's start adding some bushes. Let's say there's a bush that lives right here. He's a big old bush. Some yellow. Let's get stuff out there on the edge. This way. Bushes that live over there. Brush up with some more color. Let's put some bushes, foliage right along the water. Green foliage. Right down to the water's edge. Maybe some grass along here. Okay. Some more bushes. You always want to kind of start in the back and work your way forward. Okay. Right. Let's switch gears here a little bit, and I'm going to take that dark brush, and I'm going to make some reflections down here. So I'm going to put some color, pull this color down. Now these reflections are big, so they're going to go all the way down. These are still kind of big, and they get smaller over here. Yes. Like so. Now, where's that clean one? Take this 2-inch brush, just clean it. I'm gonna take it and pull it down, pull it down, pull it down, pull it down, down. And voila, we have our reflections. Now, let's take some Van Dyke Brown. Here's my little knife. Off. Take some Van Dyke Brown. I'm going to fill in under here. Make it look like there's some land here. And I just want to drag this sideways. Because depending on how you drag this is how the land's going to look. Like if I drag the straight down, it would look like the land goes and drops off. But dragging it across, it looks like it's more laying there. So let's get some more brown. And just lather that right on there. Okie dokie. Oh, don't want to come off. This canvas has a piece of wood, a big piece of wood around the whole outside, and then one down the middle. It's a pain in the butt trying to do anything along the edge because of that piece of wood. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Now, clean off the knife. And I'm going to go into just the tiniest bit of blue. I mean, the tiniest bit. Like that tiny. And I'm going to mix it in with that white and sienna that I use for the tree trunks. I'm going to use this as a highlight color on this dirt. I'm just going to lightly touch it with some highlights. Cool. And one more. Okay, let's get some highlight on there. There we go. Now, one thing we got to do is add a water line. Let's go through this liquid white. Put in some sort of water line. here. A little bit, right? There we go, the water line. Now, just need to finish adding some. Come here and just touch along the edge. Kind of make it look like there's grass or something right there. And then what that does is it pushes the rocks down into the painting. Actually, I think that looks all right. Right, that looks pretty good. What? And you had another rock. Another one. Here. Big old rock. Voila. It's a rock. Take some highlight color. Give it a little highlight. There's a rock. Now, what is it? This makes some grass right below it, which will set it down into the painting. A couple more bushes, and I think it'll be done. Put a bush right here. Come down like that. And just have some grass. And I think we got to finish painting. So that is, well, I got to sign it. So let me sign it first. I need a touch of red, dab of red. Here's my liner brush. A little bit of paint thinner. Get that like ink. And my initials. Something like that. Didn't come out good. Let's add that back. There we go. Maybe this works. So I got to figure out what painting this is. I think it's 58. So 24 and number 58. So 5. Voila, all done. So that is the Grandeur of Summer revisited. Let's take a look. Here was my first one. Here's my latest. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments what you think. And like I said, please hit the like and subscribe. And come back and join me next week, Thursdays at 3, to learn to paint. And again, go out, pick yourself up a basic paint set. Take a look at the post I made in the community section. Gives you some ideas of what to buy. And then, like I said, in early January or sometime in January, we'll do a stream where I'll paint with you, and you can paint right along with me. And thank you. I think it's a little better than my original. I've come a little bit, come along. So I guess that's it for this stream. I will see you all next week. Have a good week, everybody.